Hey there, so I've been editing some videos for my other channel with the DaVinci Resolve editor free version, and here are my quick tips to make it faster for you working with it. I'm doing a lot more of it with the keyboard than I did with my previous editor Camtasia. Here's all that I've learned in the last few weeks of working with this. Before, when I started, I was having click the razor option and then click both and then click the arrow, etc. and select, and it's really inaccurate when you're doing it with the mouse anyway, and it gets quite painful after a while. So what I've got, you can see the time marker or time head, and I can move left and right with the left and right arrow keys on the keyboard, and as you can see on the time over here, it actually moves by 1/100th of a second. That's very useful because that's the most accurate move. So if I want to cut out this space here, right, one thing I can do, let's press Ctrl and Backspace, and then you can see that it's done a razor through both of them, so I didn't need to select the razor icon. Then I press the right arrow. Oh, I can hear audio, I don't want to go that far, but if I'm not sure, I can press Ctrl plus or minus then also to get in that bit closer to see it. And I'm just using left and right arrows again. But again, you can do this with the mouse up here, the zoom in and out, but that's just like on a web browser or whatever. Control minus, Control plus, zoom in and out. So press Control Backspace again, and it's cut both tracks. This is good in my case if you're working with just video and audio. Now, I can do Ctrl+Up to select the top track. I found that this worked to select both tracks when my video and audio were perfectly aligned. I might have got them out by like 1/100th of a second here, and it won't let me do it. So the other way then is to press Alt+Shift+V. So I'll repeat, Alt+Shift+V selects all tracks that are in line with the time head. So, and then I want to do a ripple delete. I can just press delete. So it's nicely done that for me. And you can see it's gone. I can Control and Z if I wanted to undo that, or Control Shift and Z to redo. Now if I'm pressing left arrow again, let's just try Control Backspace, cut, Alt+Shift+V, select both, delete, gone. Another tip, right, you can press play to start and stop, as you can on many video players. So if I press play, now that's going a bit fast, so I'm going to Control minus to zoom out. Now what you can do here as well, it's really nice, is if you look at your semicolon and the key next to it, in my case it's an inverted comma or the at symbol, I can just use those, right? Semicolon jumps to the first frame of that block and the inverted comma jumps to the last frame of that block. So that's really helpful if you're skipping through. Now I haven't quite got further because I was trying to find in the keyboard shortcuts the equivalent of this, go to previous edit, but I couldn't find it when searching. So what I'm doing instead, let's say if I wanted to go back even further, or let's say I want to go to here. Let's say if I want to go back even further, I'll just press the left arrow once and then press the semicolon again, so it jumps that entire block. So maybe I'll zoom out just to show you that again. I'll zoom back in a little bit. Left arrow once, semicolon. Left arrow once, semicolon. And equally, I can press the inverted comma to go back, but if I press it again, it doesn't jump because it's already at the last frame. So again, right arrow, inverted comma, right arrow, inverted comma. So that's a nice fast way of jumping through with your keyboard. And like I said, I can press play, and in the middle I can still do the semicolon key or that inverted comma key to jump through quite quickly. So what I found as well is if I wanted to jump through the tracks quite quickly, I'll just press play a bit and then press the inverted comma, play, inverted comma, or I can do right inverted comma. There you can see my gap, and that is probably what's causing it. Normally again I could press Ctrl+Up and it would select both tracks in view, and you can do the delete from there. And actually seeing these two gaps here remind me, right, because if I Control+ in, let's have a look. I'll just click on the timeline to start, and there. See, this is quite a big gap actually. This is probably causing me some problems. Now if I come up to the top, let's see, I haven't quite figured out all of the keyboard, to navigate everything, but DaVinci Resolve keyboard customization, and you could see the overlay. Now what I would recommend, maybe I'll just close that a second. Let's say on here, if you hover over, you see go to last frame, go to first frame, etc. go to next edit, go to previous edit. So it changes actually dynamically. But even so, if you're looking for the name of something, you want to find it on here. And actually, if there is a keyboard shortcut assigned, as you can see here, B, it's already there. But don't use that one because it's not as good as the Ctrl+Backspace. It only cuts the one track. So if you're looking for any of these on the keyboard shortcuts menu, just hover over and you should see the name, and that's the name you need to look for. So if I said position lock, let's have a try. And I could just try, let's say position lock. Now, it might not have the option, but you might be buried in one of these somewhere. Okay, so I'm not going to get into all of them, but let's say we had, let's say stop and go to last position. I don't want that, but you can see there's no keyboard shortcut assigned, but reference reposition is Alt+Shift and R. And if I wanted to change, I can press Control. I can just click to X out of it. And if I wanted to assign it here, I could just click on that box when it's highlighted in red and assign the keyboard shortcut. And actually, there was a tip I saw in another video, right? So let's say again, I've got this gap here. There's a tip where they said to go to the delete gaps option, and it wasn't in my menu in the same place. And I'm pretty sure because they were using the pro version, I thought it was a free thing, but it is actually hidden, at least in the keyboard customization. Now tell me if you know where it is. And if I type in gaps, you can see instantly it's found it. It's Ctrl+G. So that will then, if you've got loads of gaps, that's a really handy one. It'll just shunt them across. In my case, I don't really want to do that, but let's just take that for, right? So I press a backspace, that actually leaves it, doesn't do the ripple delete. So if I did Ctrl+G now, this gap should be gone. Boom. Now that's not just for that one gap, that's for every gap in the project. So that makes working with your video editor so much faster, because if you've got all these gaps all over the place, it'll do every one in the project in one fell swoop. So there you go. That's everything I've learned about using DaVinci Resolve for basic editing with keyboard shortcuts. Tell me if there's anything else you want to know. Check out this video for more, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.